Okay, welcome back, guys. Everybody okay? Coffee, right? Tea? Cookies? Nobody sick yet? Good. Okay, that's strange. Yeah. Been here before. Joking. All right, our next speaker is an esteemed speaker, Dr. Jacques Ludik. And Dr. Jacques Ludik is a smart technology entrepreneur, AI expert, investor and ecosystem builder, and currently founder and president of Machine Intelligence Institute of Africa. He's also a founder and CEO of Cortex Logic, the founder and CTO of Bennett AI, founder of Synergy, the Talent Index, and AI Trade Systems, and investor in the Student Hub, ERA Online. He holds a PhD in computer science, AI, with many publications, and has 25 plus years experience in AI and data science and its applications. Previously, Dr. Ludik was Vice President of the Data Science and Chief Data Officer at Jumo, and also founder and Executive Director of C-Sense Systems that provide AI software and solutions to customers worldwide in a range of industries via an international reseller and solution partner network. The company was sold to General Electric in 2011. At General Electric, he held various leadership roles, including Big Data and Analytics Leader and Director of GE Intelligent Platforms. Jacques was also a senior lecturer and researcher at the Stellenbosch University, where dozens of his papers on AI were published in journals and international conferences, as well as a book published by Cambridge University Press, UK. He also has a patent filed for knowledge fusion. Jacques holds a BSc cum laude, Honours BSc cum laude, a MSc cum laude, and a PhD degree from Stellenbosch University. Ladies and gentlemen, our esteemed speaker, Dr. Jacques Ludik.
Hello. Oh, thanks for that. Next time I will filter most of it. Sorry. Oh. Okay.
It's coming.
It's coming. Okay, so I've got 45 minutes. Can we remove this? Or? Yeah. Great. Thank you very much for that introduction. I appreciate that. What I would like to do today, I think the focus, I think the topic is talked about the challenges around IoT, and actually it's the challenges around AI and IoT. And if you think about IoT and AI, it also just serves a purpose. It needs to be part of, I think Peter talked about the business strategy and stuff. So I think for me it's very important that you make it real. And it's all about making sure it's fully integrated into something that serves the business and make a difference. It's an incredibly exciting space right now, so looking forward to just talk about this. We can also keep it interactive. I know there's time for questions and stuff, but if you've got questions, let me know. So after that introduction, I'm just going to skip all of that. My personal massive transformative purpose really is around how to shape a better future in the smart technology era. And when I talk about the smart technology era, it's really the fourth industrial revolution. I know Cyril Ramaphosa also talked about the fourth industrial revolution, and it's about how do you actually unlock the value with this. So what I would like to do is just to talk a little bit more about that. What does it mean? So the fourth industrial revolution, it's really, I think these definitions are really stating what's happening here. It is a step change. I think Peter talked about it's a step change. And it's got massive implications for businesses, for corporates. You see a range of new platform businesses coming to the fore. And what we do as Cortex Logic, we are an AI engine for platform businesses and corporates. And we want to help those corporates and platform businesses thrive in the smart technology era. Now, if you look at the smart technology era, it's really characterized by the fusion of new technologies. And these new technologies are really blurring the lines between the physical, the biological, the digital worlds. And it's affecting all disciplines, as we see, economies. I'm going to show some slides that actually shows the machine intelligence landscape, and I've used that in many of my previous talks as well. And it just shows the impact. All these little startups that's coming up and looking at the whole enterprise application stack and coming with very specific solutions, for instance. You can see solutions for every industry. So as we're becoming more digital, there's obviously more and more opportunities around data-driven businesses and unlocking value from that. And there's one particular slide, I don't have it here, but just shows the exponential curve of data generation, whereas obviously with structured data, unstructured data, and you've got on the x-axis, which is just showing obviously time, but you show that it also shows the data utilization. And that gap is actually increasing all the time because of the exponential growth in data that's been generated. And with IoT data specifically, the world being instrumented effectively, that makes a massive difference. So I'll just quickly talk more about all of those things. And as I just mentioned, the fusion of these technologies, it's already happening, as you know. You see it pretty much everywhere with drones, virtual assistants, self-driving cars, those type of things as well. But you also see it with discovering new drugs. I just did a talk last week at the Biomedical Applications, Biomedical Engineering Conference, South African SABEC, and we talked about biomedical applications. And it's unbelievable the opportunities there as well. If you think about the cost of drugs, $2.6 billion over a 10-year period, there's so much opportunity to cut costs and actually go make improvements there. And it's fascinating to see how deep learning specifically is being utilized to solve some of these problems as well. So I've got a whole presentation deck on that specifically. And by the way, all the presentations and videos, we also make a recording here, we make it available via the Machine Intelligence Africa Report website, which is a non-profit organization. I'll just briefly talk about that as well. So yeah, anyway, so let's just move on. So I think in terms of the step change and stuff, I think we also see the speed of technology change in the smart technology era. And it's on here at the bottom, you can see all these technologies and blockchain and IoT and all of these kind of technologies all mentioned here. 3D printing, artificial intelligence, robotics, drones, etc. And it's all, there's so many opportunities to solve problems using this. So that makes it so exciting. Unlimited opportunities being spelled out. We've used these kind of figures before. 2020, they talk about 4 billion people connected. We talk about 25 plus billion embedded and intelligent systems in 2020. So incredible opportunities to unlock more value. So I think even from, if I think now back, and I've sold my previous AI company, I'm thinking about the way forward. We live in this interesting world where Kodak is not here anymore. You see Uber, Airbnb, we've used this example. You see all these platform businesses disrupting. You see corporates that want to turn themselves into platform businesses that can monetize more. There's so many opportunities. So the big challenge that we've got is how do we operationalize? How do we make it real, not just talk? And we're in the business of that. We're creating an AI engine. When we say that, it's actually connecting all the pieces, the smart data layers, automating the AI, and integrating it into the business to serve a specific purpose. And IoT has got an incredibly important role to play to feed those smart data layers with more data. And it's very exciting, the potential on that level. Okay, so you've heard this before. Salesforce said the artificial intelligence revolution is here. Andrew Ng was saying AI is new electricity. And why we'll be talking here today is just bringing AI and IoT together as well. So I'll give a little bit of perspectives on that. And also talk about issues and talking about even more technical things around the application stack and so forth. Who's actually used machine learning? Nobody's technical, no techies here. Colin, Vodacom, he's going to talk after me as well. So he's actually a fundi on IoT as well. So I'm more on the AI side, although I've applied it quite a bit in the industrial internet. And we'll talk more about that as well. But anyway, if you think about holistically about, so AI is really just developing machines and software with intelligence. And if you look at machine learning, it is just a subset of those AI systems that learn from data. And obviously it's structured data, unstructured data, IoT streaming data. You can implement real-time systems that learn, like real-time learning as well. So, and I think the big change from the 2000s, where at that time we were still unlocking tremendous value, but the big change is the fact that we can deal with unstructured data at scale as well. It's not just structured data. Unstructured data is obviously the audio, video, text, anything that's not numerical, that's in a structured relational database. So that toolbox has increased, so we can do a lot more things. And deep learning is a subset of that, and it is just very good, especially at pattern recognition type of applications and so forth. Okay, the worldwide AI revenue, I'm just going to they talk about even $100 billion market by 2025. It varies between 40 billion and 100 billion market, which is just incredible. So you kind of see this exponential growth in terms of just applications. And it's up to us to actually unlock that value and make it even a bigger market. Okay, so this was estimates from McKinsey's and some others as well. Okay, so this is the machine intelligence landscape, what I referred to, and Bloomberg Beta came out with this in 2015, and then there was 3 revisions after that. And I think Shimon Zillis that came up with this is now at OpenAI, and one of the directors there. But I thought it was pretty good at that point in time. I actually wrote her back and said this is a really good landscape summary. And she was not really into the AI machine learning space at that time. But obviously from a VC perspective, they wanted to understand what's going on. So you've got a bunch of companies looking at the core technologies, building that out, like deep learning, machine learning, NLP, and all of those kind of things. But you see a bunch of companies that's actually focusing on enterprise. So it's rethinking enterprise, and it's really everything: sales, security, authentication, fraud detection. I know there's some security experts as well, but it's got huge implications for security as well. So HR recruiting. We've actually formed businesses like sister companies within the Cortex Logic Group that's focused on talent, HR, and we're collaborating with building solutions there. Maybe afterwards, maybe if there's questions, I can talk more about that. But you can see marketing, personal assistants, all of that. But also industries are being affected. And if you think about rethinking humans and human-computer interface, I think that's, if you think about AI on 2 levels, it's unlocking value from all available data, structured, unstructured, etc. But it's also, with especially the new developments around deep learning, reinforcement learning, all these kind of techniques, it allows us to get to kind of human level, even superhuman performance in terms of human-computer interface. So suddenly, we don't need to adapt too much to technology or keyboards and all sorts of different things. It's almost like the technology is getting up and getting better. It allows us to be more fluent in our interaction with systems around us, which makes it very exciting. So it's really, you think about intelligent virtual assistants, those type of things, if you really get it right, there's a huge application there for AI. And then the other one is obviously unlocking value from the data itself. This is just 3.0. I'm not going to go into details, but you can see it's been exploding. There's so many companies doing things here. This particular slide, I'll make the slide deck available, so I'm not going to cover everything in detail here. I just want to quickly focus. You will see also I've got one slide talking about smart IoT or cognitive IoT, and it's actually all about unlocking the true value of IoT. So AI has got a very important role to fulfill. And what we've seen in our partnerships with, say, IoT.next or Visualsoft or Sigfox or Vodacom or so forth, it's all about you need to have that base layer that connects you to things, brings the data to you. And then you want rapid access to all data in one place so you can automate. And we see ourselves coming in there and unlocking the value specific to business benefits. So we're also collaborating with a bunch of other partners that's also integrating this into the business. We don't want to reinvent the wheel. It's about plug and play. We live in an API economy. API stands for Application Program Interface. And you can interpret that at multiple levels. But it's not just like, it is almost like just the abstraction of a service that you provide, but if you plug and play, bring it together, you can create solutions. So there's solutions with Microsoft, IBM, Watson, all these kind of things, commercial APIs. You've got deep learning, you've got a lot of open source APIs, there's proprietary stuff, and it's mix and match to create solvable solutions, or solutions that actually make an impact. Okay, just very quickly, Mia, I'm not going to spend too much time because I want to get to the AI and IoT bits. But this is Mia. You can go to the machineintelligenceafrica.org website. This is an organization that I just founded in 2015, but it's been really growing aggressively over the last year or so, year or two. And it's really focused on just networking together the critical resources to actually make a difference here in Africa. We want to help transform Africa. We don't want Africa to be left behind. It's a real concern. If you think about what's happening, even France is saying we've got a national strategy around this. You know what? The billions of dollars that China is putting into this. Canada is organizing themselves, US obviously. And I think it's a great opportunity for us to solve problems on the African continent and also to create world-leading unicorn companies here that can make a difference internationally as well. But we need people as well. I think EOH has got a saying, technology makes it possible, but people make it happen. And I think that's very, very important as well. Without the people with knowledge and how to apply, we're going to struggle. We're going to be very dependent on others as well. So this is just non-profit. Anyone else can participate. We've got already, as you can see, a bunch of partners there. We've talked to the Gates Foundation and the World Bank, etc. So, but this is really open for anyone to participate. You can see the growth path. If you go to the machineintelligenceafrica.org website, you will see on the events page, you will see more details of what's happening. There's some very exciting stuff happening. Just for example, so we actually had last week 200 people at UCT. It was the Western Cape Deep Learning Adult. Colin, you were there. I don't know who else was. Anyone else there? Okay, but it was more for technical, real. You also could be very technical, but it's more machine learning, AI, people that's into that space. In September this year, we've got the Deep Learning Adult that Google Brain is also sponsoring. We anticipate about 600 deep learning practitioners or machine learning type of people, which is awesome. Last year we had a fantastic event at VITS as well, 300 people there. And IBM, right after that, we actually had a great hackathon here that IBM sponsored, and fantastic stuff. We were doing visual, we were doing pothole recognition. And we had people that's building solutions using deep learning to actually recognize that. It was really cool. Okay, so just Cortex. I have to talk about Cortex a little bit in the context of AI and IoT because it's very important to us, and it will also communicate some of the things that are critical. We talk about, if you think about CIOs, the challenges that they sit with AI and IoT. How do you make it real? This is just talking about what we are focused on. So, as we said, we're we're helping businesses thrive in the smart technology era because we recognize that there's a disruption, there's a step change needed, and we want to. For us, it's about creating those end-to-end solutions. And you start with simple things where you just make it real in terms of low-hanging fruit opportunities or just quick wins. Just show the value, then you can grow it. How do you eat an elephant bit by bit? So you create those kind of solutions. So this is kind of a summary of what we do. But just on a broader level, if you think about this, even if you don't see Cortex here, it's what I've said earlier, enable smart data for automated AI. You need rapid access to all data. Now, Andrew, you were also at Jumo, and you remember at that time we had data all over the place. And all this data that sits on that laptop, was there in the cloud, was there on premise here, and it was very difficult to automate any analytics. And in that instance, we had to work with call direct records, wallet behaviors, and we had to do credit risk, affordability, all sorts of fraud detection, all sorts of things. But you can't do that properly if you don't have access to all data in one place and you've created those smart data layers. So the next step is to automate that AI. So you create the systems and stuff, and you want to make sure it's reusable, plug and play, so you can actually use this in real time. So for instance, again, that Jumo example, there was situations where during the day, there was examples of where fraud was happening within half an hour, and we had to solve those kind of things. You had to implement very quickly real-time systems that address those things as well. And it's very difficult to do that if you don't have analytics well integrated also into your systems, into your platform as well. So it's really how do you create that end-to-end kind of solutions. So more realistically, there's a bunch of value drivers just talking about how to optimize this business, because I think you think you're in this business, but things are changing, and the moment you get more data, you become data-driven, there's more opportunities to monetize, there's more different types of business revenue models, and all sorts of things that can come to the fore. There's potential ways of collaborating with other corporates, other businesses, and that will help you thrive, potentially. So one needs to think about that. So we've got some solutions in that space as well. But if you're a customer-centric business, then a growing, satisfied customer base is very important. Targeted sales and marketing, recommendation engines, all of those type of things. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. And then productive employees, you want to make sure your employees are productive, so we've got solutions there. And then smart systems, and I think this is where IoT is such an important role that it plays to enable smart systems, really. So this particular slide is just showing some of the very specific things, and maybe I just want to point out some of it here. AI Optimize is more holistic, looks at strategic AI first business optimization and transformation. If you look at any business, you can say, what is the big data analytics, AI, IoT maturity? You can do assessment. The IDC has got a very nice assessment that looks at strategy, people, processes, data, and technology. And you can see exactly where you are. And you can measure it from an ad hoc state to an optimized state. And those are things that we can also help with, just to help set the scene. So we're like an AI partner that can help with that. But for us, it's really about implementing very specific solutions. So I'm not going to go into everything here. But if you think about IoT, it's about real-time AI for IoT. You've got all this data. What do you do with that? How do you integrate that into the business? So that's critical. So I'm just going to skip some of this here. I'm going to go straight to just maybe quickly value drivers and then a bit more on IoT, AI and IoT. So if you look at value drivers for business, there's so many different ways of looking at this, but it really starts there in terms of your business. If you think about your business, how can AI and IoT and other technologies, blockchain, etc., help to increase operational efficiency, effectiveness, and increase the revenue? So this kind of thing we've used quite a bit, and even with my previous company, C-Sense, we've unlocked value. We've helped companies to actually increase the productivity and revenue, reducing risk and lowering costs. And especially, I think IoT is coming to all the other industries, but in the industrial space, it's been there with us for a long period of time. You've got equipment that's well instrumented. If I think about GE, and you look at that jet engines got about 2,000 sensors around that. So while it's in flight, you've got all those sensors, and you can get access to that information in real time. You can build models where you can say, I want to do predictive maintenance, and I want to really figure out what's the health of this particular jet engine, and I want to obviously implement a proper optimized predictive maintenance schedule around this, for instance. And it makes a big difference. So GE, for instance, is selling billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars of service level agreements around the equipment. So it's equipment plus this. So, and Jeff Immelt, when he was still the CEO at that time, he was just saying, yesterday we were a hardware company, today we're a software and analytics company. That's a big thing for GE to say. But in truth, it's obviously a hybrid. They've got equipment that they sell, so it's got the services. But clearly, a jet engine becomes software defined the moment you instrument it properly. So that makes a big difference. So if you think about other things, and I've got some examples as well. If you think about the minerals, metals, mining, manufacturing space, it's all about throughput, yield, quality. And 1% improvement in quality or throughput and yield translates to millions of dollars. So even in the 2000s, with the traditional machine learning toolboxes, we were unlocking value there. You just, what you basically do is you do rapid process troubleshooting, identify the causes for process deviation, where there's problems. You implement that into a system that's integrated with the SCADAs, the DCS, the PLCs of the system. And then on top of that, you've got the MES, Manufacturing Enterprise Solutions layer, the ERP layers. But the SCADA layer and the DCS layers is really the systems that are integrated to the plants, the equipment, the devices, the IoT space, effectively, in the industrial world. So, and we were writing back to, say, PLCs and controlling furnaces, grinders, and those type of things. And in that way, you actually can increase the throughput. If you just stabilize, I've got one slide just shows where there was actually a 5% increase in stabilization, and it made some incredible, it was a 5% increase in throughput based on stabilization and stuff. So there's many examples. And for me, the great thing, the opportunity is to see, okay, we've done this in the industrial space. So we're going to do more in that space because we've got low-cost type of sensors that we can implement. But all the other industries, there's so much opportunity to unlock value and create end-to-end systems that makes a difference right there. So this is the biggest. So I think the second category is creating strategic value, and then the final one is more for me around customers, enhanced customer experience, targeted sales and marketing, real-time, on-demand, digital, personalized service delivery. All of that is possible especially if we've got it well instrumented. Okay, so I'll skip that. Just going to skip some of this as well. I'll just very quickly spend some time on this, and then I'll go to some of the applications of IoT, AI and IoT as well. Okay, this looks maybe complicated, but if you just look at, if you start here, I've got basically 1, 2, and 3. So 1 here talks about enabling smart data for automated AI, and it's really, I think it's important that one looks at your data lake, on-premise, cloud, virtual, hybrid, but you want access to all available data. And it could be external data that you bring in, it could be your internal structured data and unstructured data. Very important to actually create that smart data layers. And I've got another slide here that shows the smart application stack. If you want to build these smart applications, what does that stack need to look like? But effectively, for especially the traditional machine learning techniques, you need to create the feature library because it makes it easier. You can use it for credit risk or affordability or for segmentation or various uses, fraud. There's a lot of common patterns, and that's important if you want to be agile and do things quickly. So you need to enable smart data layers, and I'll show a little bit more about what that looks like. That feeds into your AI, data science. We create predictive models, analytics, and all of that, and you can automate things. And when we say automate, in a lot of instances, some of the training will have an offline and so forth, but you want to make sure you streamline everything. There's a bunch of tools out there that helps to automate various pieces of this whole chain of work, of the whole workflow. And basically we embrace that and we implement, and that's part of it. But very importantly, you can't just have it offline, just a data study or just a report. You want to say, how can we integrate this into the business? And it could be automated analytics, real-time dashboards. It could feed into intelligent virtual assistants. It could feed into various models. And once you've got a model, you've got something powerful because you can actually now simulate. You can do what-if scenario analysis. You can say, G's got the term digital twin. So digital twin is like, if you think about a jet engine that I mentioned before, you can create a digital twin for that jet engine, which is really just a software model that represents that. So you want to get as close as possible to the reality. If I feed this in, this is what I get out, and this is exactly what's happening with this piece of equipment as well. But you can abstract that to multiple levels. You can actually instrument a business. You can instrument processes. You can instrument so many things. The more information you have, you can create models around this and create what-if scenario analysis. For example, for the beers, we are looking, one of the corporates that we're working with, looking at their whole business and looking at opportunities where we can save money and they can become more data-driven. And there's opportunities, massive opportunities for them. But it's the same for other corporates as we deal with other corporates as well. And then the idea is how do you create those end-to-end solutions to solve those problems. But anyway, so you want to plug it in and you can optimize, but for that particular thing, you can then also create a simulation across your business. So you can actually have a digital twin for processes and parts of your business as well. So it's going to be an interesting world that we're going into in the next 5 to 10 years, the more we instrument things. Just the IoT functional view. So obviously you've got your sensors, your physical devices, your network, all the processing elements, your connectivity elements, your connectivity frameworks. We've obviously on that level, we've also partnered with Sigfox and Squidnet and so forth, but we're very open in terms of how we partner, and it's important, for us it's more important just to create that end-to-end solution. And what's the most cost-effective way of doing that? But you want to, obviously you've got this, you want to say, what do I do? You need to aggregate, and there's obviously IoT middleware, and you've got existing data, you need to accumulate, ingest data storage. We're also working with a company called Femi that's doing big data warehousing they're a big data warehouse solution that do governance and privacy by design. Data privacy is becoming a huge thing. Discovery is actually implemented Femi. Is big. So there's some other companies here in South Africa. We're working with even universities to bring that in as well, especially in the healthcare space. It's huge. And there's quite a bit of activity on genomics specifically as well. But that's another partnership where it's very important as part of that smart data layer is to actually have the right partners that's helping with privacy, and helping with governance, and helping with data ingestion on a clever way. So what Femi is doing is actually creating a metadata layer. They're actually making when the data is being ingested, it's already taking structured and unstructured data, which could be videos, audio, could be all sorts of different things. Electronic health records, could be whatever it is. Everything that has to do with health or anything else, you bring it in, and you actually make sure that you you've got this metadata layer where you tag it in a proper way. So they make that easier, and it sits on top of Cloudera and Hortonworks, etc. But it just makes your life so much easier if you want to now use the data. And you want to make sure I've got governance and I've got privacy by design sorted out. And then obviously it's all about why do we need all of this is really the unlocking of value. So the augmented intelligence, the automated intelligence, augmented behavior, this is the applications. These are very, very important. And you can think about it, stream analytics, so data coming in real time, you can do batch analytics, you can do all sorts of processing, there's both processing engines and frameworks, etc. And then also edge computing. Not everything is happening in the cloud. For instance, C-Sense, we did a lot of stuff was on the edge. So, and the way it's being done going forward, you can maybe train models in the cloud, but then you deploy it on the edge. If you think about deep learning, about TensorFlow that Google is providing, for instance, they make it easy to deploy on multiple platforms, on your smartphone, wherever. So you can train, you can get a super intelligent system that's that you can deploy in that way. So very important to think about it holistically, and that makes a huge makes a huge difference to have that. Okay, this is the application stack that I talked about. I'm not going to go too much detail, but you've got raw data, there's data preparation layers, and if you talk about text, natural language processing, all of those type of things, that fits in there as well. And this feeds into a smart data layer where it's just knowledge, where you think about your SQL, NoSQL, RAF, ontologies, all of those type of things as well. And that can feed into your analytics layer. Now you can sit with, you do descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, prescriptive, cognitive, all sorts of analytics, and then you can feed that into your application layer. And it's obviously feeding back as well. If you think about intelligent virtual assistants, say you do sentiment analysis, that information could be very valuable in terms of refining your models. So you want to feed that information back to the data lake, put it through the system, get a proper 360-degree view, or more a refined view of the customer, and improve your models, and you're obviously going to have better behavior. So it needs to be a self-learning kind of system. If you want to use as much information as possible. So in a sense, the applications can also serve as an instrument, providing more information, more detailed information about what the customer wants and needs. We're talking to direct access, for instance, as well. They've got a Pulse engine, and there is an example of where we put an AI engine for them to create a better user experience as well, in terms of just knowing more, creating a 360-degree view, being more relevant, more personal, more on demand, that type of thing as well. Okay, and that just shows the spectrum of analytics, all the way from descriptive to cognitive, and all of it is important. We say analytics, sophistication, and depth, but prescriptive is critical. Obviously, predictive, you forecast, but prescriptive is what do you do? And examples of prescriptive that we've done for many years is advanced process control. We actually write back to the controllers and you say, this is how you need to optimize. Or you write back to the SCADA screens, you tell the operators, this is the suggestions, this is how you should operate this particular plant. And you can translate that back to anything, any other industry and business. And cognitive is really just more proactive action, learn at scale, but I think it's also more that human-computer interface layer, where it's learning, it's reasoning, but there's also natural interaction with the customer and so forth. How much time do I have? Okay, cool. I wanted to keep it more interactive, but we can. Okay, I'm just going to show some IoT examples. This is now getting more into the AI and IoT space. And I don't know if you've seen this before, but this is a good summary of, you've got the real physical world, then you've got the digital world. And this is like a things integration. And if you think about it, there's also a virtual cyber world at the moment. We've got data integration and as well as semantic integration. And semantic integration just means that you've got understanding, there's context around this piece of equipment. It's like, if I look at that jet engine example, there it sits. But now it's not just digital stuff. It's actually true understanding of what this jet engine is. And that is important if you have a connected world where you've got understanding about each device or each object in the real physical world, then the interaction between them could become very interesting. So you can create this is like virtual reality, and you can do all sorts of very interesting stuff in this space. But I thought also this is interesting just in terms of where this could go. If you think about what is the cognitive or the smart IoT, what is smart IoT, you can infuse intelligence into the physical world and learn from it. Okay, that's what we say. You can fast track and extend human expertise. That's obviously one of the aims here. But you can think about your products and services if you infuse cognition into that. There's so much opportunities to create a better experience. More relevant experience, and also fuller human interaction with people. So I mentioned at the start, shaping a better world in the smart technology era, and I think we need to help shape that better world and make the right decisions in terms of how we use IoT and AI, etc., in an ethical way, a right way, non-discriminatory way, etc., but also to create a better experience for us and create jobs around that as well. We don't want to, we've got to be clever around how we work in this new world. I think there's a lot of opportunities if we do it right. Anyway, so that was just on that front. We talked about this, and maybe just this particular slide here, I think this is where things are going. So today versus 2025 beyond, when I talk to the 6 Fox people, they say, we've got this already. But, or I don't know, Vodacom. Don't think you're competing really, but where we're moving is this is a picture. We see devices, all sorts of things, open access IoT networks, and it's more like a centralized cloud. Clearly, where we're moving is a distributed cloud. We've got open access IoT networks as well. So it's going to be very interesting to think about blockchain and all those technologies, but trustless peer-to-peer messaging, secure distributed data sharing, a robust and scalable form of device coordination. I think this is the world that we're moving towards. So intelligence on the edge as well, in the cloud, in a distributed cloud. So very, very interesting. And the new opportunities with AI and IoT, clearly, I've mentioned this before, the new business models. You can create new value streams for customers, speed time to market, response more rapidly to customer needs, but also real-time information on mission-critical systems. That was maybe not possible before, that is made possible by AI and IoT. Diversification of revenue streams, I talked about that. Global visibility is either for enterprises to see inside the business, which will lower the cost of doing business in far-flung locales. So, efficient, intelligent operations. Okay. So those are things that we've discussed and mentioned. I think this is also where things are moving. So you can think about intelligence, assisted intelligence. I think this was done, I think it's at PwC. Assisted intelligence, augmented intelligence, and autonomous intelligence. And with assisted intelligence, you've got tasks that are being automated. Humans don't really learn there. You've got machines that learn. And examples are machinery, processes in factories, boilers, ovens, all those things. But if you move to augmented intelligence, the nature of the task change. You've got humans informing machines and machines informing humans as well. It's like business strategy analysis using machine learning, smart clinical decision support. But if you move to autonomous, the decisions are automated, the machine learns continuously, and that's all possible. And it's like autonomous vehicles, smart investments, etc. And we've got also a system, AI, state-of-the-art AI trade system that works, that's 24/7, and it gives by-itself signals, and it works. But it's more long-term. It looks at maybe make 3 or 4 or 5 trades a year maximum. But it's telling you the right stuff. We've picked up Steiner, picked up all these kind of things up front. I wish I implemented before because I was a Steiner shareholder as well. But this is just an example of kind of autonomous systems. We can implement it and it does a great job. Obviously, there's some engineering that goes into this to make this happen. You need to maintain this. It's not like humans are completely out of it. But this is where we're moving. And the market for that is obviously huge because it's growing, the size of the market as well. Then a bunch of applications. Maybe I just want to emphasize this point here. We talk about challenges. So challenges facing AI in IoT, and that's like compatibility is obviously a thing that we need to look at. Complexity, privacy, security coming to the fore, safety, ethical and legal issues. I think that ethics is becoming very important, and that's something where we need to help shape a better future. And then artificial stupidity is also a challenge. Talk about artificial intelligence, but artificial stupidity as well. And this is just showing, just to end off, just the last few things here, but this is some of the IoT use cases. If you think about tracking, moving assets, but you always understand, why do I do this? It obviously needs to serve your business KPIs. And obviously it's about, that in that instance, control the quality of delivery. You've got maybe service level agreements, humidity, temperature, shock, all those things are important, and now you can do that, which was not possible before. Identify responsibility of assets and locations, off premises, etc. But you can see, secure better, improve your uptime, optimize your resources. It speaks to the same things that I've been talking about before in terms of what we say about AI as well, but this is enabled by IoT. IoT's got an important role to play. And you can look at all the different industries, smart cities. By the way, I've been invited by the United Nations to participate next month in smart cities and AI, so I'm looking forward to that. Learn from others, what's happening in Europe and other places as well. And obviously Cape Town, we want to be a smart city. Think about Johannesburg, there's a bunch of initiatives going on around that. We can all make a contribution. So, but anyway, this is just showing more use cases, and you can think about retail. You can change that whole retail thing around smart grids as well. It's very exciting what you can do there. We're just showcasing some things like facial recognition, and we recognize you. You sit in the shop, maybe you've been there before, and it says, "Hi, how's it going? Hi, Bonita," and maybe knows what you want and help you. It could be creepy properly as well, but if I just was yesterday in discussion with Professor Eugene Kluter at Stellenbosch University, and I talked about their big data analytics initiatives and stuff, but he was also saying that he likes also Amazon, well, the fact that he's got no problem with Amazon giving him relevant stuff, information around the books that he want to read. A lot of the books he's interested in. So it's one just needs to think about it, but I think it's a balance. You don't want people to be manipulated. You don't want people to just have access to very private information, like healthcare data, and they can do all sorts of different things. Okay, so I'm just going to wrap up here. This is just showing some this is an example of that in the industrial world, where this translates to millions of dollars, where you've got, for instance, a grinding process where the feed is like that. The moment you really stabilize that, you get those increases in throughput and better quality, lower energy. There's all these side effects that you get. And you think about equipment, if you increase the availability of trucks, say for instance, from 70% to 85%, that's a massive improvement for the business. And it's the same elsewhere. So, and I maybe end with this type of thing, because this is what we've used at GE as well. So in GE we coined the term industrial internet, and really talked about the industrial data lake. You talk about sensor data, content, user manuals, knowledge bases, machine data, historia data. Historian is where you store all your sensor data, time series data. But then you add CRM, ERP, logs, clickstream, social network, geolocation data. And then you have your flexible data models that sits there, and you've got different questions. Data scientists, how long will it last without failures or maintenance? You might ask, is my asset performing optimally? Or you've got the field operations guy saying, how to configure for the best operational results. You've got a business analyst saying, is my asset ready when there is a market opportunity? And you can address those kind of questions in a much better way if you've got access to all available data. So data in one place, any data, all data. So this is the world that we're striving towards, and of course that's exactly it, what we're trying to do. Okay, I'm going to skip this. Is just some success stories. And maybe just to end off with the last thing. I've got a few slides on this, but it's, if you think about your business, then obviously you need to train. If you want to think about what other things are going to generate the value, there's a few transformation catalysts that can accelerate the path to value generation. And you need to have a clear understanding of the promise of big data, IoT, AI, when you apply this against a company's key business problems and goals. And this is just showing, if you want to really move this curve back, so that's time, then this is just showing some of the things that you need to have in place. This is relevant for all the things you need. You need data availability, you need distributed computing, analytics, the tools, the platforms, the skills, the people as well. And there's also one slide, I think it's McKinsey's that's using it, where you talk about collaboration on the y-axis, innovation on the x-axis. And when you look at the quadrants, the 4 quadrants, you've got where there's low innovation, low collaboration, you've got observers. Then you've got and a lot of companies are on that quadrant. Then you've got companies that's trying to collaborate, not innovate really, collaborate. A few there, and then you've got companies that try and innovate but not collaborate. And the ones that's moving the fastest is the ones that's doing collaboration and innovation, so collaborative innovation. And this is where we see also our roles, being part of just helping businesses thrive and moving quicker. We've got JBRs, joint business relationships with PwC, Deloitte, McKinsey, and so forth, because we also help them helping their customers operationalize as well. Obviously working directly with customers, but this is just part of that ecosystem. But they are applying it themselves as well, because they realize they are also being disrupted. It's a very interesting world that we live in. Anyway, so organization alignment, process and change management, but yeah. I think I'm going to end there. Sorry. Thank you very much. I don't know if there's questions. So, yeah. Good. Okay. So that's good. I'll make the slides available. We've got a recording as well. So that's good. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jacques. I think this is amazing because I feel a little bit more stupid every time I do one of these sessions. I don't know about you guys, but you're talking about intelligence and collaboration and all that. I thought you can use this for saving marriages. In my part-time, I'm a relationship coach, and we see 50% of my relationships, not only mine, but 50% of the relationships are failing. And worldwide, 50% of people get divorced in marriage. So you can imagine a dating site. You have facial recognition. No, you're no good. No, you're no good. No, you're it's a bit like a Tinder thing, but facial recognition. And then when you actually meet the person, you just put something up like that. Not for you. Ticking all the boxes takes on a whole new thing. I think it'd be brilliant. No more divorces. No more lost money. Fantastic. Colin, are you ready?
I'm good to go.
All right, because I'm getting in trouble here. Okay. Colin Mamdou is a principal specialist. IoT, Vodacom Western Cape, which is one of our sponsors today, and we thank Vodacom for the gifts they've given us, and we thank Vodacom for the gifts of the speakers as well, and for being here today and making it possible.